tools in our process. And our primary tool is CodePen. So let's go ahead and get started on that. All right, so let me screen share, and I think this is working. Okay, so our tool is CodePen, right? CodePen is where we're going to be doing our pens, and CodePen is where we're going to be doing our projects and our posts. So let's do that. All right, I'm also, your reward for coming to class today and attending class today is we're actually going to go through your daily engagements. So we're just going to hammer that all out. Is that okay? Is that okay that we get ahead of your homework assignments? Thanks. Thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Try to reward you for coming to class. Let's go ahead and take a look at the course website real fast. Okay. Again, my last name .ewu.design. So manikoth.ewu.design. And that'll bring you to the portal for all of my classes. And then we're going to open up Web 1. And there are two links in there. One is to the course website, and the second link is to the YouTube playlist. So all the videos that I'm making for this class go specifically into this Web 1 YouTube playlist. And I got 2 views on my post, on my post last night, a whopping 2 views. So I'm hoping that if you need a refresher on this stuff, you can go ahead and just rewatch the video. I can't believe that the last lecture was 58 minutes long. So that was, but I'm gonna try my best to get us in and out in under 30 to 45 minutes, yeah, every single class. Okay, because like Cole was saying, right, we have limited attention. So let's make sure that we can do this. All right, so from the Web Design 1, you're gonna go to the Master Professor Pen. Okay, so right there, you can open this in a new tab. Now, if I were to make my screen bigger, let's see how I can do this here. All right, do you still see my entire screen? There's no way to do multiple windows here. So let me share my desktop and let's see if we can do this. Okay, oh, thanks. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm mimicking a typical class, right? So on my left or right screen, right, should be the Master Professor Pen. So I'm going to pretend I'm a student for a second, okay? So on your screens, okay, whether you have a small screen or a big screen, okay, the Professor Pen should be on one side, and on the other side should be your pen. So go ahead and do that. So codepen.io. Right, and you can just go ahead and click on pen, and that's the first place we're going to start. You just make a blank pen. Okay. And then to name the pen, we can go ahead and click on the button right there, and we can rename this pen. Let's call this thing, oh, what number are we on? Let's go ahead and go into our assignments real fast. See here, we just did number 2, so we're on Fork Professor Pen, and I want you to name it Engagement Number 3. So we can click on the pencil icon and name it Engagement Number 3. Yeah. So notice that I'm on one side of your screen and you should be on the other side of your screen. And for Web 1, we're not going to be using JavaScript. Okay. So maybe if we get through enough stuff. And as I'm typing, so I'm going to go ahead and on the Master Professor Pen, type some stuff that should show up on your screen also. Okay. Also inside of the Master Professor Pen is a chat. Okay, so you can come in and say hi. So all I want you to do is come into the chat and say hi. All right, just let me know that you're there. Right now, I can see that 11 students are seeing this. And this is going to make this live. This is how we're going to kind of resolve the issues of distance. Okay, as I'm typing, you should be able to see that, right? You should be able to see all my good and bad. And that's that transparency that I was talking about from previous classes. Okay.
Real quickly, my Wi-Fi is currently down, so the only thing I can do is tune in right now from my phone, so I don't have any access to CodePen or anything.
Oh, all right. Sorry to hear that. We'll get this up to YouTube as soon as possible. Just an FYI on YouTube, they're being bombarded right now, and so the time it takes to process a video is slower than it normally is. But I keep checking back on that YouTube playlist, and you'll see today's lecture.
All right.
All right. Good there? All right, so you got the Master Professor Pen open. Okay, So I don't need to see another pen. So I just need to see my pen, but you should be taking a look at 2 pens. So I'm going to go ahead and stop screen sharing and just share one screen now. All right, and that right there is every single class. Like every single class, we're going to be inside of the professor pen. Okay, every single class. Just give me a second here to get the, what's it called? Zoom, I'll figure it out again. All right, so let's get into this. All right, so the first one you're going to have to do is you're going to create a pen called Engagement 3. But you'll notice something here that we made a pen called Engagement 3 already. So I'm going to go back and take a look at that pen. So one of the first URLs that you should be aware of, okay, and today is a lot about our tools and our URLs. So if you go to codepen.io/your username, right, in this case, my username is just my last name. Here is all of my, my pens. And I'm going to go ahead and collapse that sidebar for lack of space. And what we have here is our pens, our projects, our posts, and our collections. So if we take a look at posts, we have our one post that we made for this week. It's somewhere inside of here, right? And you'll notice that the posts are categorized by what's published, and there's that post that we made. And we can do the same thing for pens. And if we go to pens, we can also go to public, and we can see all of our pens that we made. Okay. And pens public, and this is how we see all the previous pens that we made. So if you find yourself losing your pens, this is how you can do it. So there's really no easy way other than to get used to the CodePen interface, right? You're just going to end up losing a pen, and that's okay. But here's where you can go back and see where all of your pens are, and you can choose to do it by grid view or list view. Okay. Good there. Okay. So we have our pens. Okay. So we have a pen, and we named it in Engagement 3. And so now I came in here and I made a pen called Engagement 3. So I'm going to go back and do that. Now this is the one time I'm going to I'm going to show you how to delete a pen. Okay. So we made something called Engagement 3, but it doesn't have the content that we want. Okay. And so we can go ahead and save this pen. And here's how you delete a pen. Okay, so we have this pen saved, and if I go back to my dashboard and go to pens public, right, I can see that pen there. There's Engagement 3 that I just created. Also, what you need to take note of is take a look at all these timestamps. There's no hiding on the web. Like you can see the timestamps when like your clients will be able to see when you started a project and how much you worked on it. And Web 2, when I teach you version control and GitHub, that's actually a very useful thing, right? You want to be able to go on vacation, come back and see what your team has been working on while you're away on vacation, and vice versa. So these timestamps and like a log of what was done is very, very helpful. And we just get you ready for that in Web 1. So what we want isn't a new pen. What we want is a forked pen. And this is a fundamental concept of working on the web, especially in version control. You're going to take something, you're going to fork it, you're going to branch it. You're basically going to take a template of it and continue on work with it. So right now this pen is absolutely blank, and what we want to be able to do is delete this pen. So in your in the UI there down at the bottom, right? Footer, I guess. We're going to go ahead and hit delete. And yes, I understand once you delete a pen, it's gone for forever. Oh, looks like they keep it for 3 days. All right, we're going to go ahead and delete that pen, and that pen is now gone. Okay. Also, a little confusing thing about CodePen, there is something called the CodePen dashboard. All right, so if you go to codepen.io and don't put your username, but actually put dashboard, okay, it'll give you a dashboard of all of your pens. Both are ways to view your content. As of right now, I don't know. I think this is the one that CodePen is going to continue with. I really think they're going to get rid of the profiles at some point. But you can see here everything I ever made, right? So I can see when you started a pen and when you last updated a pen. And this is very, very helpful. This is also helpful for engagement and for your team, right? Again, you don't work alone, right? One of the myths of modern web design is we work by ourselves. That's not true. Like the quote unquote webmaster. Throw up a thumbs up if you've heard of the term webmaster. All right, good, because that term doesn't exist anymore. It's old and outdated. Okay, there is no more one single unicorn, right, that is responsible for everything at website. It's teams, and now we have all these tools, right, to help us work as a team. Okay, a website, an app, all these digital tools are a lot of people's work. All right, so there's that, and we've just deleted our pen. So now what I want you to do is go to the Master Professor pen. Okay, so go to the Master Professor pen. And inside the Master Professor pen is my name and a color I picked. Okay, so you're at the Master Professor pen. You're at a name and a color that I picked. And what you should be able to do at the Master Professor pen is fork it. Do you have an option to fork from the Master Professor pen? Can someone tell me? Because I can't see your screens. I can't fork.
Where on there would it be? Where would the?
So I'm gonna go ahead and open up another tab here, right? What I want us to do, so here I can't do oh, when they changed the UI. Hang on. Well, it looks like for the time being, they've gotten rid of it. It's only on the editor view.
I found it in the fork, but only when it was a bigger window. I meant I found fork in the footer, but only when my window was full screen.
Yeah, I saw that too. When you went to delete it at the bottom, I saw the option for fork, but I don't see it on here.
Do you see the purple bar?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's no, is there a forked option for you? Anywhere. You should be, go ahead.
No, I don't see anything, honestly.
Well, we're gonna have to update that in the assignment there.
I found it. I clicked on where it said Professor Pen Design 1, the title, in the top left, and then it showed up for whatever reason on the bottom.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
Just same thing.
All right. All right. Thank you, everybody. All right. Here's what's happening. I don't like this UI at all. They used to have a fork button. I'm gonna contact them and say, like, I don't like the new UI. Okay. This is good. See the purple bar there? All right. Now what I want you to do, if I zoom in, can you see that? If I zoom in? Is it zooming in on your screen?
It doesn't. No, it's not on mine.
Let's see here. If you take a look at your URL bar, what I want to make clear here is the CodePen URL. So it's codepen.io/your username. And then it's /professor. So I'm going to copy that URL, and then there's a unique identifier for every pen that we make. What we're looking at right now is a view. And if I change it to the default view, which is the editor view, okay, or sorry, the pen view, so I can change the view right here. You can go to the editor view, and I can change that to /pen. Okay. And now I get this view. Okay. And this is the view we're going to be working on. So the professor view is for me to interact with everybody in class, right? But when you actually need to make changes to it, okay, you're going to switch to the editor view. So you're in the editor view viewing me in the professor mode. I know that's confusing. You're in the editor view with me in the professor view. All right. Who gets credit for figuring that out?
Somebody? I think it was Andy.
Andy, thank you. So all I did was I clicked on the title and I opened this up in new pen. So now, Andy, thank you. We can edit this, right? And take a look at the URL for a second. It's different. The URL doesn't say professor anymore. The URL says /pen. So username /professor, but you forked it and now you got URL /pen. And so now you're going to change this name to engagement 3. Engagement number 3. I think that's what it was. Okay, and then you can hit save on this. Okay, all right, so before I go on to CodePen collections, is everybody clear on that part? On how to fork a pen? You're gonna be forking a lot of my Professor pens. All quarter long, you're gonna be forking it, renaming it, fork, rename, fork, rename. Now, that's not your name, right? And so here is the source, and here is the forked or the branched version, the duplicate version, right? And what we're gonna change it now is put your name now. Now put your name in there, and you can go ahead and pick your own color. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna come up with a, all right. Good. All right. So now you need to submit this, okay? And what ends up happening is a lot of the links already that were submitted are broken. And what we need to do is make sure that we understand, because your clients and your team don't want broken links. And it's really important we understand URL structure. So if you give me my Professor Pen link, that's not correct, right? Because only I can access this. You can view it, but you can't edit it. And so what we want is a forked pen, this pen. So the pen that you forked, this is the URL we're going to submit. And you can do one of two things. You can nerd out and hit Command L and jump to the URL bar and just copy that. You can also go down to the share button down here, right? Oh, where do they keep moving the share button? Oh, far right corner, and hit share, and you can get a link there. But the easiest way is just to copy the URL. So congratulations, we just got engagement number 3, all done and done. Good there? Check.
So far, so good.
Throw up a thumb. All right, now go into incognito mode, all right, or Command Shift P, all right, or Command Shift N if you're on Chrome. Okay, basically incognito mode or private browsing, right? What your generation refers to as the porn tab, but whatever. It's private browsing. It's incognito mode, right? Basically, you're just not logged in. So double check. What does that do? What that does is it allows you to view a link without being logged in, without having to log out of CodePen. So I strongly recommend it. Double check your links, double check your links, double check your links. All right, so we've just taken care of engagement 3. So now you're gonna provide these URLs. So I want 2 URLs. The first URL is this view, right? So you can go ahead and, right? And that URL has /pen in there. Next, we're gonna go change view. And if you hold down your command key, you can open this thing up in, what view did I ask for? Oh, debug mode. Yeah. And so debug mode is the result of your work. So here is the source code, here is the result of the source. Here's the source code, here's the result, here's the source, here's the result. Now, why do I want debug mode? Whatever browser you're on, go ahead and right click and go to inspect element. Later on, I'm going to mandate that we all use Firefox, right? But we're not quite there yet. Every modern web browser has a dev tool that allows us to peek underneath the hood and see all of the layers, right? See how everything works. And the dev tools is extremely powerful, and you can't do modern web design without it. It's just impossible. The dev tools allows you to do things like a rapid prototype. So if I can come into, let's see here, let's go to the Eastern site for a second. All right, if you haven't seen this stuff already, all right. So let's say I'm at the Eastern site right here, everybody. And I'm gonna come in here and find this H1 that has the title and watch me do something here. It's now call-in day. Is Eastern gonna come after me? Right? So if you can make one small change there, you can make a change on anything. And this is that rapid prototyping, right? Thank you, Tiffany, for the clap. We can refresh this and everything went back to normal. And this is how we can experiment with our sites. In modern web design, we need to leave this old way of doing stuff where we type something, refresh the page, type something, refresh the page, type something, refresh the page. That's not the modern process. Okay. And we'll do a deep dive into how to use the dev tools. But yeah, you can change pretty much anything, right? So here I am on Google's website. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'm tired of their white homepage. Maybe I want it to be a different color, right? So I can come in here and cherry pick. And how's that look? Let's make it Eastern red. Why not? Okay. You can make a change to anything. Take a screenshot of this and go, look, I changed the Google homepage. Okay, but we all know if we refresh it, everything goes back to the way it was. Okay. So that's sandboxing, right? CodePen and all these tools allow us to sandbox, or basically do experimentations in isolation without wrecking the original files. Okay, see what this is a university class now? You can see this, right? It's not just type stuff and have a website. Yeah, there's quite a bit to this. Okay, so those are the two views I need, right? So we need the editor view, which has a /pen, and the live debug mode, debug view, which has /debug. Okay, because right now, if we run our inspector inside of our pen view, our editor view, we get a website inside of a website, and the debug view allows us to view the results. So don't run the debugger inside of this, because you're not debugging your work, you're debugging CodePen, which is something completely different altogether. Okay, so any questions on engagement 3? Thumbs, hands, claps, something?
I'm still a little confused on what you type in the URL to fork it. I got a little bit behind there, I guess.
Oh,
I thought I knew what I was doing.
So fork from the Professor Pen?
Yes.
You're just going to click on it, and it's going to open a new tab. Click on the title. Boom, right? It opens a new tab.
Just for that, it doesn't necessarily open a new tab for me.
You can command click, and it should open a new tab. Yeah.
Oh, that worked. Okay.
Perfect, perfect. All right. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
How did you do the second thing that you did? The debug thing? How did you like change it again?
Change view, and then you can hit Command Tab and open this thing in debug mode. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's no way of getting around being a web designer. We have too many tabs open. Okay. And then when we do responsive design, you know how you can spot a web designer when they start doing this, right? You see, web designers are constantly maximizing and shrinking windows for responsive design. So yeah, I'll make a web designer out of you at some point. All right. Good. Y'all. All right. Okay. So let's go back to the Master Professor Pen here. So I'm going to exit this window and reopen the Professor Pen. Oh, look at CodePen. It messed up my title here. I'll have to put all the emojis back. Okay, the next thing we want to do is, so there's our, the next thing we want to do is be able to manage our pens and have a collection. So easy way to do this, okay. Let's see, let's go ahead and take care of number 4. CodePen collection. All right, and we're going to make a collection called Web Design 1. So what I want you to do right now is go to CodePen, and let me teach you a nerdy shortcut. If you're inside of any pen, if you're inside of any panel, here I'm inside of this panel, here I'm inside of this panel. One of the keyboard shortcuts you can do is Command P. Oh, they get rid of it. Back to the CodePen homepage, right? You have 2 ways to make a pen. You can click on pen, or you can go codepen.io/pen and watch what happens when I do codepen.io/pen. It's gonna make me a new pen. And then if I hit Command S to save it, okay, it's going to add in my username and my pen. Basically, you should never give me back a pen that I made. All of the pens that you submit, all of the posts that you submit, all of the projects you submit, all of the collection you submit should have your username. Okay. And so let's come in here, and we're going to go make a pen called call it First Pen for Collection, and go ahead and hit save on that. And just you can say test pen for Web 1 collection. So you can create a test pen for Web 1 collection. So right now, this is getting kind of tedious, right? We got pens everywhere. And a collection is essentially a folder on CodePen. A collection is a folder on CodePen. And so what we want to do here is come down to add to new collection down at the bottom, add to new collection. And we're basically going to click on the green button there that says create a new collection. And so what you're going to do is when you make a pen, instead of having it just go into the, not have it be a part of any folder, we're going to make a new collection. All right, so again, and then we're going to name it. So you're going to name it Web1 collection. So let's do this again, add to collection, click on create new collection, give it a name. In this case, you're going to call it Web1 collection. Let's see here, make sure I named it right. Web Design 1, excuse me. Let's go ahead and name this thing Web Design. You can rename these collections later. All right, so we're gonna create a new collection. We're gonna call this thing Web Design 1. Okay, and go ahead and hit create collection. And there we go. We have a new pen called Web Design 1. So if you hover over the Web Design 1, you'll see that it has one pen, which is the pen that we're looking at. And then if you command click view collection, you can see the collection right here. So there's our first pen inside of our collection, right? And it's right there. And so what this does is this gives you a nice way to organize your pen. So if you wanted to, you can have a pen for typography. You can have, you can have a collection for typography. You can have a collection for layout. Right? You can begin to start organizing some of your pens because they get a little bit unwieldy. We're going to be making at least 50. Yeah. All right. Any questions on collection so far?
Yeah, my page doesn't have that on the bottom of it.
Yeah, this is fine.
Mine didn't until I actually saved.
You got to hit save.
Yeah, you have to push save. That's what I noticed.
Got to hit save, because otherwise the pen doesn't exist yet. So Command S, and if you want to know where all the shortcuts are, down at the bottom there is a little shortcut tab right there. Those are all the nerd shortcuts. So let's see, to make a new pen, it is Command P. So good. So if you're nerdy like me, you'll use all these keyboard shortcuts. Otherwise, you'll feel free to use the UI. Okay, go ahead and click on that. All right, so for engagement number 4, all I want is the URL to your first collection, which is this one right here, this Web Design 1 collection. Okay, and an easy way to do that is simply just copy and paste the URL. And notice everything after the URL is called a query string. You can even get rid of that, and this is just the default view. Yeah, but the default view is this list view. But you can just go ahead and copy the entire thing. So for number 4, this is what I need, a URL to your Web Design 1 collection. Good? Throw up a, there you go, yay, all right, we're all good. Okay, I hope this is recording correctly. The last class, it had a black screen. I spoke for 40 minutes and the screen was all black. The audio was, right? Online classes. All right. So there is collection. Okay, we have a CodePen collection. So now let's practice adding to this collection. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close up this pen. So what I want you to do is go to the CodePen homepage, codepen.io, CodePen homepage. All right. And every time you go to the CodePen homepage, there is some featured pens here. And so what I want you to do is go ahead and just browse through here. And I like this one. All right. Now, what I see is probably going to be different than what you see. So let me just give you a second. Find a pen that you like from the featured, right? These are all the picked pens, all the featured one. I can't go wrong with cats. So I'm just go ahead and click on cats. Good there, everybody? All right. So if we take a look at the URL, okay. It's codepen.io / this person's username. This person's username happens to be Jenning. Okay, good. So this isn't my username, Manikoff. This isn't your username. This is Jenning. And I like this one. And I want to add username Jenning's work to my website. What is awesome about CodePen is everyone is sharing their work. So if I wanted to add this to my website, guess what I can do, right? Someone yell it out before I do it. Fork. All right, thanks, Nick. I'm going to go into fork, right? Fork the pen. And Nick, what happened?
It basically created a carbon copy, but now it's under your username instead of who's yours. Mine's name is Michelle.
Right.
But now it's my pen, not hers.
Exactly, right. And whether you're forking, branching, right, or making a prototype, right, then it's all part of our version control. Now this is a part of my account now. Now the username is /Manickoff. So forking a pen is a wonderful, wonderful feature of CodePen. Like you can just go in and see, I like that. And then you want to, now we can come in and experiment with this. Okay. All right, so now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and go and click, I'm going to click add to collection. And I'm going to add this to my Web Design 1 collection. So right now our Web Design 1 collection has one pen. And if we click on add to collection, and then we just go ahead and click on the plus button or hover over it. Now our Web 1 collection has 2 pens. Okay, and
do you want us to put this specific one, or do you care which pen we put in there?
I don't care which one.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Yeah, later on you can remove it, but we just
gotcha.
wanted to test. And if you want to actually view your collection, go to add to collection and hover over it and click on view collection. All right, now anyone who's had a class with me in web design knows I don't like teaching you how to use the tools. This is one of my pet peeves about a lot of this stuff. So if you're bored right now, I'm a little bit too, but I'm excited to show you what is available to you. So you know, telling you where to point and click is kind of weird, not the best use of class time, but I'm hoping that you're seeing the big picture concepts of why this is a university class, right? One of them is just getting you ready for version control. Okay. All right, good. All right, so now we take a look at our Web Design 1 collection. We have 2 pens. Okay. All right, check, throw up your hands. We're gonna do this last one and then we're gonna be good. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to close up our CodePen collection. Okay, so the last one here is we're going to make our homepage. We're starting our website now. Like I said in my video, you don't sit down with a blank text file and start typing. Like you don't sit down with a blank document and just start designing. It just doesn't work that way. What we need to be able to do is make a whole bunch of pens. So we're going to have a pen for our navigation. We're going to have a pen for our footer. We're going to have a pen for our portfolio. And those pens we're going to take and add to our project. And this is the last thing that we need for CodePen is CodePen projects. So this is where we actually get to see what CodePen is hiding from you. So what is good about CodePen is it abstracts all of the stuff away. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's come into here. We have our H1. And then over here we have whatever color that we picked for it. So I'm going to come in here and make this thing Rebecca purple. Okay. And there's my H1, and I can do stuff like this and come in here and go TA for text align and hit tab, or that's tab size. Text align. Oh, a lot of errors today. Let's go text align and colon center. Okay. And we'll talk about what all this stuff is later on. FZ for font size. Go ahead and hit FZ tab, right? FZ tab. Now all these tab completers are a tool that is invisible to you right now. So we're going to go font size, and we're going to make this thing really big for right now. We're going to scream it out. 5EM. That's the unit. All right, so we have all of this, and then if we go to change view and I open this thing up in debug mode, you're like, well, yeah, that makes sense, right? So if you were asked someone on the street and then they looked at this and said, hey, how much code is necessary to make a website? They're going to go, well, 1 line of code for the H1 and then 5 lines of codes for the CSS. That is false. I'm going to say it again. If you ask someone on the street how many lines of code there are, well, here's 1, and here's 4, here's 5. That's false. So if we actually go into the debug mode, right, and you can nerd out and go Command U, and that's actually all of the code that makes the website go. You can control click view source, right, and that's all of the code. So this, now you didn't write all of this. I didn't write all of this. that's the beauty of CodePen. There's a lot of stuff that's a part of a website that it has to be there, right? And this is all these HTML elements. And these are the elements that we'll be talking about next week. And what we need to know is, what is all of this stuff? Okay. Like, and that's the abstraction. We're abstracting away a lot of code. And what CodePen does, CodePen says, yes, I know I need all this, otherwise I don't have a website, right? But I'm only focusing on my content right there. And so what you should first know is this HTML panel only deals with this, of what you can see inside of the browser window. You should ask yourself, how do I change that icon? I don't want the CodePen icon. I want my icon there. Right? How do I change the title of this to not say CodePen Professor Pen? Okay, and those are all things that we're going to be able to figure out later on. All right, so now that we got that all figured out, let's go back to the CodePen homepage and let's go make our first CodePen project. All right, we're running a little bit long. First weeks always run long because we got so much to cover. All right, we're going to go ahead and click on project now, right? We've made a pen, we've made a post, we've made a collection. Now we're finally going to make a project. So this is your CodePen project. And I want you to find basic HTML. Actually, we're going to start blank here. I don't want any of this. I want a blank document. So let's go ahead and rename this, right? And I want you to put your name in here. This is going to be, actually just call it my website for right now. We're going to change this later on. Okay, you're going to make a project. You're going to hit save on this, and it's called my website. And the first file that we need to make for my website, don't use any of these templates, right? Like, we got this, right? We're going to start from scratch. But Colin, you just said we don't start from scratch. You have to start from scratch one time and then reuse that later on. So down at the bottom there, we're going to make a new file. Go ahead and click on new file. Okay, so we have a new project and a new file. And a website will have a lot of files. And when someone types in your username or your domain name, excuse me, so when someone types in yourwebsite.com, it needs to know which file to load first. Does anybody know which file gets loaded first? If there's a whole mess of files inside of a folder, how does it know which one to load first? Right. So for a website to happen, right, we have to have this file called index.html. That is essentially our homepage. And notice it's not called homepage.html, it's called index.html. We're going to have portfolio, we're going to have contact.html. And when someone types in yourwebsite.com, it's not going to load contact, it's not going to load in portfolio.html, it's going to load in index.html. And notice this is all blank. This is your website right now. It's completely blank. So if we were to come in here, just type H1, right? And then our name, well, this is technically wrong. We don't have a website. We need a whole mess of other stuff. We need a whole lot more. So first thing we need is an HTML element, right? So you can do that. And then you come in here and type in another HTML element. And this is where I stop you. And I go, all right, there's got to be a better way to do this. There's a lot of stuff that we need. Why are we still typing all this out? We're going to break down later on what all this stuff is. But for right now, let me show you a shortcut. Ready? And this is why you're taking this class. Type in exclamation point and bring your cursor after that. Okay, everybody good there? Exclamation point. Or in computer science term, that's bang, right? Hash. Okay. Exclamation point, bang, hit tab. And then I hit tab. Can I get some responses? This is where usually if we're in a live class, this is where everybody goes, ooh, ah. All right, someone give me an ooh and an ah, fake ooh, ah, like wow, right?
Ooh,
wait, that's not right. It should look like this. CodePen, oh guys, that's wrong. Y'all, that's wrong. Go HTML, CodePen got rid of it. Go HTML:5. Where's my Emmet shortcut? Y'all, this is right here. Type HTML:5 and press tab to generate the basic HTML5 document. I did that. HTML. So many errors today. That's not it at all. I'm gonna save this and refresh it. Did everyone get the right thing? If you got the right thing.
No, definitely not.
No, I got what you got.
Yep.
Yep, same. Yeah.
I think we need to run it first. Well, we're gonna have to come back to it. I guess for right now, type in H1 and put your name. Oh, I'm so defeated, y'all. I'm really defeated. This is supposed to work. All right, H1 tab, your name. Okay. So now let's go ahead and go into settings. Okay. And let's go ahead and save and close on this. Let's see here. Go ahead and click save all in one. Oh, they moved it again. Thanks, CodePen. Bottom right-hand corner, okay, this is the editor view. This is the source. This is the source of your website. It has all the source code. Now, I don't need to see that. I want to see the result of that, okay? To do that, we're going to go to down the lower right-hand corner, click on deploy. What we want to do is deploy our project. So let's go ahead and click on deploy. And deploy basically means make my website available to the world. And then there's that URL. And we're going to go ahead and copy and paste, command click that website. So here's the source. Here's the result. Here's the source. Here's the result. Good? Okay. So this is what I need. These are the two URLs. I want to see your source code, and I want to see the result of that source code. Right? And this is your live website. Right, so give me the editor view and the live view, okay, to your home page, and that is assignment 5. So that's your reward for coming to class. You've completed everything. Good?
No.
All right. So again, I can't edit your website. You can edit your website, but I can't see your code. All right, again, make sure that your website is public. Take note of the URL for your website. Is that a fun URL to give to people and have them type out?
Definitely not.
All right, so later on, that's going to be, all right, so Nick was right. Later on, that's going to be yourwebsite.com. And we're going to be able to add our custom domain names into that. And we'll start thinking about our custom domain name next week.
Cool.
Good? All right, I'm going to stop recording now.
It didn't.